Tactic event for the turn is kind of a cute one. Public horror and outrage at the increasing suicide rate and reckless habits spark anti-suicide squad sentiments. The Imperium has to destroy a suicide squad, and I had to get rid of one. And presumably they can't build one in this turn because it says it may be repurchased in a future turn. How quickly they forget. Province 3, which is what I got to tax, is not a terribly rich province, and I'm missing one of the wealthier planets on it now. Having been taken out of commission by the rebellion. So the Imperials actually didn't get a lot of cash here. They chose to use some of it, including a future buck a turn on recovery of it, to up their PDB here. Yes, it's going to be unlikely that they catch that mission group. They're probably going to get out of there before the Imperials can throw a bunch of troops in there, because the Imperials have Province 1 and Province 3 available for free movement. That means Province 1, a huge navy could show up there. But there's already a couple of ships there, which I think qualified for a column shift. Yep, there's 4 strength points. 3 strength points is all you need for a column shift. Those patrols are kind of cool for space combat. They suck on ground combat. They're no better than militia. And built a few extra troops, etc. Hoping to take care of what I can. I don't feel like the rebels are ready to show their base yet. This just does not seem like enough. $50 to challenge Barca. If I did want to challenge Barca, I'd of course have to maybe put Lai Mantok or Raynor, but Lai is better because of the space combat ability, in a position to fight him. Now, in either case, they're one column shift worse than Barca is. So they're not, they'd have to have significantly greater force. Now, the advantage that the rebels have in combat is that they can put out these cool elite units, which are good on space and are almost as strong as the Imperial elites of various types. They can have as many as they like. They don't have to pay any kind of maintenance fee on them. So that's kind of nice. They might be able to hurt the Imperials a little bit better, especially in ground combat. In space combat, there's no real limit to what you can have in a force, which makes the Imperials particularly dangerous, but they're spread out all over the place. They could get schwacked by rebel space military and picked off in smaller groups. Alright, well, we'll start with the rebel turn then. And a pretty bad effect coming up. I moved the rebel units. These guys stayed where they are. Raynor's group landed on planet rather than making a jump. It's one of the reasons they went there. They weren't found on the way. But coming up from here, PDB discovered with the column shifts, it actually was able to get a DD result. That damaged the spaceship. Now, the spaceship's still allowed to make a jump, and they did and slipped in here safely. A damaged spaceship's pretty useless except for one thing. Yarrow Latek is with it. He can sit back and repair that ship and other possessions that would be destroyed in the character game or whatever, the one system game actually. So it's not that terrible a thing. It just means somebody's doing the equivalent of healing in this case. But still, it kept me from going where I kind of wanted to go, which was to the secret, because there were a couple of troops there. I could have gone to this secret, but it was further away. I wanted to make sure that I get those repairs underway and get out of there before I start telegraphing moves. If I got caught in a drift box or something, conceivably something could get kind of annoying about all that. Alright, on. Okay, so, I don't know, the rebel camps, I think one of them succeeded here, but moving to here, a failure again. The rebellion would have started if the diplomacy had succeeded. I'm going to have to shift the royal character over to the diplomacy mission. It's just too hard to get them. I should have a decent chance. I only need one, but the R's seem to come up a lot more frequently. I'm in the wild there. There are 5 R's and only 3 diplomacies. That's why we're not seeing those come up. Diplomacy is a hard task, actually. Over here, we got the rebel camp started. They split into 2 groups again, went looking for possessions. It's really the only bonus thing you can do now. And, well, they didn't get the possessions, but they got the camp down. They're planning on moving on forward. They want to try to slip into Clone World and get some people. I would like to be using this group for that, but I got to take the risk here. And get some of my old characters back. And then finally, this big group over here. Could I attack John Cadu? Ooh. You know, I might want to launch an attack there. It would have happened earlier, but I'm not too worried about that. But over here, split into 2 groups, and Yarrow Latek went back and repaired the spaceship. So we're in good shape there in terms of being able to get out of there. I did a rebel camp, and that succeeded. The other thing I did was a find possessions, and I got another one of these little critters. Adds 2 to combat strength for somebody with it as a defender. Ignores the first creature attack. Well, I've already got somebody who ignores the first creature attack, Professor Merag, so he'll probably always be in the other group from Merag. And he also can take a wound in combat, but that'll destroy him. He can be damaged each time he's used in a combat or whatever, but that's not too bad because I got Yarrow with him. He can just sit at home and fix him. So that's kind of a cool thing to have this extra thing. These companions, I forgot to mention this, but they take up a seat in the spaceship, I think. So there's kind of a mixed, how valuable really are they? Right now I'm at 3, 6, 7, 8. I'm full up with the Explorer, so I can't. So going up here wouldn't even necessarily help me. However, this group can carry another 6 characters, so that should be pretty easy. Plus, I could hunt for ships as well. Let me think about that attack. If I make that attack, it would be a base 1-to-1, 2 shifts in my favor, 3 shifts against. That doesn't sound good, but it may be better than what I'd be facing when Barca walks in there. I'll let the Imperials do the attack. We'll just move this forward. Again, though, it does not feel like I'm getting the traction I need, and I'm not sure how to go about that. As the Imperial turn finishes up, Barca has managed to wipe things down to just this one little unit. Now, the Rebels may well try to escape through space. This stack has gotten smaller. Some of it's been diverted to other areas, for example, wiping out the Rebel camp that was over there. Because I'm allowed to move in Province 3. One little stack that has tremendous capability is Red Jack, the Emperor, and Thyza Kimbo at summoning sovereigns. 2, 3, I think 6 bonus draws for that, in addition to whatever they get from their diplomacy and leadership and whatever. That's a huge ability, and I think I'm going to start going around summoning sovereigns at this point. I picked this guy up. They can be useful in the long run. I'm beginning to feel like, gee, I could use them, and I'm just kind of popping around doing diplomacy, and it's not really helping me. This would have been a good stack to be doing that with earlier. I have poor Senator Derman stuck back here without anything to do until I quell this rebellion completely. And let's see. I don't know if that's actually in rebel control anymore, but it doesn't really matter. Once the rebels are gone, I think is the real issue there. I think that's when I'm capable of actually quelling the rebellion with those guys. Anyway, on to the rebel turn. Over here I've got Imperial Knight and Satar, a couple of Imperial Knights, kind of stuck there with nothing to do. Yeah, they could jump to a capital like the Throne World or something, but there's really not a lot of options available to them right now. They've just been kind of stuck over here for a long time. Well, not surprisingly, I've been screwing something up fairly major. Both the military combat results table and the character combat results table. And this is something that works the same way in War of the Ring, and I don't remember if I did it correctly there. Where is that sucker? Down there. Is that each player rolls on the combat table. You look up an odds value and make a die roll for the attacker and a die roll for the defender, and it gives you a wider variety of results than I've been allowing. This is particularly important on the character combat results table, maybe because I've done that a lot where I'm just, oh, okay, I'll roll one die. Okay, well, that means I got hit as the defender, which is kind of the important thing. But if I didn't get hit as the defender, it means I did damage as the attacker, or to the attacker, and reduced their combat ability. Again, it works kind of like the War of the Ring situation, where as you take hits against your endurance, your strength goes down in combat. So combat's kind of this progressive issue. Likewise with the military units, though, a successful avoiding damage shouldn't necessarily in the game rules mean that you do more damage to the opponent. I'm a little disturbed by this. I actually like doing it the simpler way, easier. There's something to be said for getting that broader span of results. On the other hand, there's a mechanical complexity to the whole thing that I don't really like. I prefer, a single die roll to having to roll twice. So, yeah, I'll probably have to fish out another die to complete the game the way it's supposed to be played. All right, but as to interception, something I haven't dealt with at all. This guy wants to get off planet. I have no idea what's here, but I'm going to sail up here. Now, these guys get to automatically intercept it. That could be very bad for Dermond. They're going to be the attackers, and they actually stop this from going any further at this point, which can be pretty serious because then I can pull more ships up and block them again. I think the way I'm reading it, it's a complicated section of the rules as far as I'm concerned. I would rather, and maybe I'll just play it this way because I like it better. Hey, they get intercepted, great. If they fight and win the battle, they get to get out of there. I like that better. So we'll do that, and we're going to be looking at a space battle here. I've only got 4 strength points to 3. That's a 1-to-1. Ooh, but the defender could throw his PDB in, which I believe is a 1-column shift, so it's a 1-to-2 attack. And that may not be good for the rebels at all. Okay. Whose die roll was that? I have no idea. Okay, so red is for the attacker, who will be the Imperials. All right, 3. So I hate doing this. Attacker's left, defender's right. So the attacker does 1, and the defender does 2. So the defender knocks one of these aside. But now comes the issue. Hey, I've got a unit. I've still got this enemy unit in place. I think I should be able to get away from them. And I don't know where I want to go. That was part of the problem. I don't know where to go that might be safe. As long as I don't try to land on planet, I guess it's okay. And I kind of want to head down this way. Of course, the Imperials can try to catch me. 1, 2, 3. That gives me a 0. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to be at the +3 table in the hyper jump for that. 9. That puts me way out in the drift 2 box, which could be a problem. All right. So, I'm not sure what else we have here. Trying trying to see. I think I've moved all my character groups. We got Rainer's group going there to try to recover some dead people. Now this is dangerous. More dangerous than they think. Because I've got the Imperial Suicide Squad, the remaining one up there. So if they get detected, they could well end up dead. And now, let's see, everywhere else, these guys, they absolutely need to get the revolt this turn. If they don't get it, they'll be facing the potential of a higher level PDB, because this is going to be the 4th rank. But I don't think that the Imperials can raise the PDB 2 levels, so this isn't too dangerous. Okay, after fudging a few rules, and I like to do that, what did we have happen? Well, our Rainer, oh, we picked him up. Our little group here set up a rebel camp, and they also grabbed Dr. Sontag. I got to get a counter for him. He's been raised from the clone banks there. They also happened, incidentally, to knock the PDB down. Those things are really fragile. You're just walking around and you might break them. Over here, set up the rebel camp. We also did a scavenge for possessions there, which didn't get us anything. I didn't mention the secret that they found on the way, IPOC. IPOC is the military's command center. If you set this into rebellion, the Imperial military will be playing face up for the rest of the game, no matter what else happens. That's kind of a desirable goal, but the loyalty's a little too high right now to count on being able to do that even with this big group, and I've got a couple more secrets right in the area. I want to try to exploit those, find them out. There are just a couple more secrets, and I know there's one big one out there, the Dead World one, which could have a significant impact on parts of the galaxy. Not huge, but it could convert a couple of loyalty points, etc. It's a nice thing to find and publish. There's also the Imperial Archives, which will open that up once discovered. Well, wait, I'm not sure Imperial Archives. You may have to conquer that. Complete records. Yeah, you have to do a galactic information result on there. There's also a trap lying somewhere, and that trap is something I want to reveal because, and that's why the archives are important, because I don't want to land on secret planets anymore. These guys can do it from space, and that's cool. I don't think the scanner can, no. And well, these poor suckers. They managed to get the diplomacy this time, but didn't get the rebellion. I actually used the Royal again to try to do the rebellion because he gets 2 bonus draws for that, right? It's 1 for diplomacy. No, it looks like he only gets 1 either way. But the rebellion is less likely, actually, I think. I don't know. Anyway, at least I've got it down to unrest, which means it's got a chance sometime soon, but it may be too late. Because now we're going into the Imperial player turn, and then we hit taxation of that province and free movement there, and bad things can happen. I've got this guy who went out here. That's not the best place for him, well, in terms of terrain. He wants to be in another air area like this. That's where he gets his bonus. I was counting on maybe being able to get a rebellion going here and having some troops that he could go join with and add some strength to. But this is a low size environment, so chances are maybe I would have filled it up anyway. I don't know, $7. It would come out. Are they starfaring bucks? They are. So I could put a 4-3 in there. So yeah, there'd be room for him to go there. Alternatively, I could just try to get through here and land here and throw this back under rebel control. There's not a lot of value to rebel control, though, if you remember. It's just at the end of the game, that's the victory condition, is to have things under rebel control. But leaving this in rebellion is pretty good. It keeps it out of Imperial control. and that's of some importance. Kind of wish things in Rebellion counted like partial points or something. I don't know, but then they'd be even less important to actually gain military control. All right, onward. Faced with the hard decision of whether or not to try to stop the rebellion here, I decided to pull Barca and his whole crew out of here. And I also pulled Gelba's group over to here. They ended up netting a 0 effect on the loyalty using diplomacy. They got a -1, but also a +1. The -1 was kind of a nice thing because then they could get 2 shifts conceivably, but it didn't work out that way. Actually, they could get 2 shifts anyway. Unless I screwed up and moved the wrong thing. Who knows? Chances are actually pretty good that I did. I think I did. I think I moved the wrong little dial. All right. Over here, I've got Red Jack. Now, he's being left behind with the Emperor and his daughter. They're not going to be able to move anywhere, pretty much. Well, they can throw themselves into the throne world or whatever. So there's some ability always to maneuver, but what they're looking at is trying to summon this sovereign. They're so good at doing that, I decided to try. But even with all those bonus draws, they still didn't get it. They went through, most of the deck, but there just aren't all that many. Only 3 of them in any given deck. So not much there. And now we'll be moving over to turn 9, which will be taxation of the 4th province, and we can pretty much be assured that the Imperial strategic assignment includes the 4th province. That's one of the big reasons not to reveal the secret base. I got these points here, but that removes these limitations off the Imperials entirely. I think the assumption is that there's like 16 cards total, and once you get through those 16, the Imperial base should have been declared by then, or the Rebel base should have been declared by then. I've never gotten to the point where the Rebels were in that good a shape. I've seen them survive through turn 20, barely hanging on. They're actually doing about as well, maybe better than I've ever seen them do, and this is none too impressive to me. Okay, the Imperial's got the big money card. This is the Emperor's in a rare mood. If you ever get an action event in this turn, the Imperial player can commit an atrocity. You can do it on any planet you like. Well, there's a reason for the planetary stabilizer. I can wipe out the living planet, assuming I get that particular action event. But there's a good chance that that'll come up over the course of a turn. Very good chance, actually. So I built myself a planetary stabilizer, built myself a bunch of new stuff, a couple new cool things. The suicide squads, because I dropped one down here to try to hunt for Raynor's group while they're looking through the dead bodies. And some troops. I'm using this here to mark my expenditures for maintenance costs. It's impossible for me to remember my maintenance costs, and I pull up my strategic assignment, which I think we've already seen, Province 4 to Province 5. However, and you might be saying, whoa, wait, you had to build this at the capital, the planetary stabilizer, that was a mistake. No, because this is in Rebellion, so I can move it over there. I could have also, I think, built it over at the capital. That would have been just as close, but I have this, I don't know. There's an advantage here in that I can shift stuff from the 1st province, as long as it's at Throne World or Capital, into this rebelling planet, and then from here I can start shifting it elsewhere. So I've got kind of this little window of opportunity available right now, which could go away. All right, well, we're going to move on to the Rebels. And the Rebels' luck runs out again. Raynor's group sails up, coming up from here. Now, remember, he doesn't know about this, but there's a suicide squad here, so he's in real risk. This is the first time I've seen the Imperials even place anything on planet hunting me. I go up here, go through the PDB detection routine, and this isn't too likely, but on a 6, 5, or a 6, we're going to see a D with a chance of an interception. Well, with a successful interception. The squadron that was here is only a 2-point squadron, all I have is 2 shields though. So that means I'm on the 0 table on the combat. The attacker rolls, and he got a 6. The only result he could get, really we're talking about, what, I guess a 3 out of 36. 1 in 12 chance here. His ship's destroyed. He's dead. Everybody's dead. Everybody in that group's dead. And this inevitably happens, Eventually, the rebels' luck runs out, and they lose an entire group. We had it happen before, it's happened again. And eventually, because the speed with which they can act starts slowing down as they lose these groups, they will lose the snowball effect even. And it looked like maybe they were gaining in this war. Maybe they were doing a little better than just breaking even. Maybe, just maybe, there would be this eventual growth towards a rebellion being obvious. But every time that I've ended this game, it has become clear that the rebels no longer have a chance, even if you extended it, the timeline, well beyond what it is. I've heard people say, hey, give them 30 turns and it's probably a fair game. You could bid the turns. You could do that. It doesn't help me. The rebels are just too hosed every time I've played it. All right. Well, I'll continue with the rebel turns and see if we can wipe the rest of them. And for the rest of the rebel turn over here, we had a 2-point shift in the loyalty down from patriotic to neutral, which dropped this and gave me a Pyro-Rad domino effect, which I don't remember where I took it. I think I took it in the first province, but I don't remember where. There's like one Pyro-Rad planet, this one. I dropped them down. Getting them ready for that. Over here, these guys went for a diplomacy and start rebellion. Kind of difficult. Only Frun was off on his own. All the bonus draws got canceled. The start rebellion came up, but not the diplomacies that I needed. So no rebellion there. That would have been a nice little jump. I like Hyperworld because it allows me to do 2 things at once. That's kind of cool. Of course, if I don't succeed in throwing it into rebellion, then the Imperials can go back and do 2 things there too. But they don't need to do missions as much as I do. Did manage to knock the PDB down though. Over here, Professor Merrig looked out the window and said, I don't think you want to go there. Drug World. Okay, it increases the stats of all the characters by 1 while they're on it, but unfortunately, it also inflicts a hit to everyone. And this is my big group. I really don't want to take all that damage. If I had the doctor there, maybe I would, because he can do some kind of good things with healing. But I think all he does is heals all wounds for the characters that he's... The characters still have to avoid going anywhere, and he heals all their wounds instead of just 1 per turn. So I chose not to even land there and try to do anything, which is kind of a pity. That's not far from, going into a rebellion, but I just don't want to deal with that. I've got other secrets to look for. I'm good for now. Well, that's the end of the rebel turn, I guess. On the Imperial side of things, we shift the Knights over to here. Try to up the loyalty there. I've got a 2 space up, so I could get a domino effect there. Barca's gone back here, and the reason for that is because, well, since I built the planetary stabilizer, I'm kind of hoping it'll fire off. But I've only got 2 more phases in which to draw the event. If I do, how big an advantage is it? This planet in rebellion already. It's already given most of what it will. The one thing that will happen, though, is the rebels don't get any... It'll prevent a rebel victory point. That's the extent of it. But this is just too much a monstrosity to allow to exist. And meanwhile, Barca's gone over here to try to convert, to go back here to convert the Welcome Rebels. Now this puts Barca and the fleet in kind of an annoying position, but they can always run back to the Throne World or a capital, and then move to the next thing that they need to deal with if another rebellion comes up. Okay, on the rebels, and we're on a big moment here. The Professor Merrick has just sailed in here with Lai's group, detected the Imperial Archives. We want to land here because if we get a successful gather information mission, we get to turn over all the secrets, and that's a real bonus. Then I don't have to be hopping around to them. I can aim at the ones I want, etc. So, we have to worry here. Now, we have just a level 1 PDB, which would be normal, but we have 8 points of space strength. No, not sex strength. Oh, this thought about onions. And that gives 2 shifts. Every 3 points of space strength gives 2 shifts. So I'm not on the 9. I'm going to be... Ooh, is it -2 or is it 2 shifts? I think it's column shifts. So I'm on this 5 to 6 table, which means there's a decent chance I could end up getting a detachment against me. And that could be the end of that group. And then I'd be down to 1 group. But I slip in undetected. And now I got to decide where I want to land. It is time to look at the analysis sheet. I've been doing this a little bit. Okay, and I'll be looking at the I mission, and that's equal in both. So I'm going to land here in the wild section. Oh wait, no, it's better in something. It's best in urban. There's more in urban. So now the question becomes, what am I likely to do? I'm likely to get more bonus draws if I go into the urban section. I really want this more than anything else. I can also, drop a rebel camp here or something. Whatever else works. But that's my goal right there. I'm leaving these guys here because they want to set this up. I don't know what to do with these space troops here. I gotta try to fly somewhere, I guess. There's somewhere... Alright. We're gonna drop in here and try to attack. See what happens. May not be the best move in the world. Alright, so we got a 1-to-1 attack in space. Ready for the attacker. And I do 2 hits and take 2. Well, I have a 3 space combat. They only have a 2. So I have defeated... Oops. Yeah, these don't flip over. I've defeated the Imperial Patrol. Also provides me with a little bit of protection up here, but not much. And now we'll go on to the... The Imperial player got his wish. He can commit an atrocity. Now, because he has this special event in play, bang, there goes the planetary stabilizer. Somewhere in here. There it is. And that's going to wipe this planet out. Off the game. I don't know where to throw these. That has no effect on the domino effect type situation because it's living planet. It's unaffected by that. And I want to see if I can build another planetary stabilizer. I believe I can. Some of the atrocity units don't come back. They essentially stay fixed on the planet in effect. They cause, say, the loyalty not to be able to move. But I think if it's expended, it actually gets to move. It gets to come back. So that is the end of that planet. And now what about me being in orbit? Am I destroyed? I don't know. Indeed, the 2 fleet units are destroyed too, which is a pity. Increases the expense for these suckers, but hey, I can always rebuild those. Getting rid of that planet, how valuable, how important, I don't know. But it makes me happy to destroy. Okay, so over on Hyperworld, We got our 2 missions. We went for the diplomacy start rebellion combination. Nah, didn't get anywhere. Terrible. Over here I split into 3 separate mission groups. I'm in a small environment, so there aren't a lot of chances of events coming up, so that seemed a little safer. And I went ahead with that. That was the 3 missions were a sabotage mission that I sent poor Adam and his Norox off on. A rebel base mission with Lai's little group here. And then finally the gather information with Professor Merag and Oneste. Between them they get to avoid most encounters, so they're in pretty good shape there. Nobody was even detected with all that. Bunch of bonus draws for things. Well, the sabotage worked, which is important because the PDB is down. That's going to make it a lot harder to detect them with, I don't remember what they had. They had like 8 points of mobile units here. So the first 5 of that is to just get a detection roll at all, and then 1 column shift in their favor. So yeah, there's a chance that they could end up facing a squadron on their way out, but it's half the chance it was. Well, now the other thing though, the gather information was successful, and that means all secrets are revealed. And honestly, I can get rid of the archives here, and I've got to look for the other secrets because they're done. There's nothing else there for them. Dead World, that's going to immediately trigger, that's the one I wanted, that's going to trigger a problem in the Saurians planets. And the first thing is this goes down by 1. Rebel control, I think, is just 1 level. Let me check that. Let's see. Becoming rebel control. Cannot be occupied by a star. Okay. So it is a starfaring race. All the planets of that star system will be shifted 1 space. If it's currently at unrest, this can drop it into rebellion, but I can't shift one that's currently patriotic. So that's kind of a big deal there. I don't know if I was that strong on this one. I don't think I treated it. Oh, it isn't a home world of a race. So I'm only able to do 1. Yeah, I wasn't able to get a thing. So here the loyalty drops to unrest. We can get rid of Dead World here. And then I have to worry about a Saurian planet. And we'll look up the different options of where those are. Yeah, I probably should just... Okay, 321. That's this one. That's not going to give me a bonus. 121. I mean, I want to see if I can get one. This one I can't even do. 143. That one I can't do. It's already loyal. 151. Can't do that. That's loyal. 163. Can't do that. That's loyal. 221. That one's kind of interesting. 331. That's this one here. That's loyal. And 352, which should be the one I just hit. So I have a couple of options here. I could do the home world of the Saurians, but I'm kind of behind, so I want to do this one instead. 321. I'll push that down. IPOC would be a bonus to get a rebellion. Ooh, problem with that, that kills my thing. So yeah, I'm going to hit the homeworld of the Saurians instead, because I might get a 2-point bonus there on IPOC because of the rebel camp there. If I do this, the rebel camp won't get its chance to check to see if it gets to generate any diplomacy this turn. Here's the trap marker. I can remove that. That doesn't have any effect. And I think that's about it. There may be another one kicking around somewhere. So I skim the board looking for... There's one. Okay, this is Imperial Deltronic. That's where spaceships are produced, the largest spaceship producer. It causes it to be a more difficult place to catch the rebels as they enter through the PDB. And also, if you scavenge for possessions there, you can guarantee you'll get a spaceship, but you can't get the special spaceship. There's a special experimental spaceship that has some neat little abilities and is generally pretty cool to get. All right, so that looks like all we're turning over. We've gotten most of the secrets already. I like secrets, so I usually target them. And yeah, I think I've done. I think I've already done these suckers, and they didn't give me anything, if I recall correctly. So we'll push over to the Imperial turn, and I think we're done with the rebels here. Just making sure. And finishing up this 9th turn, the Imperials essentially got nothing off their mission groups, but they did stomp out most of the rebel bases. There's still one here, 2 over there in Sector 2. They couldn't conglomerate their forces there. But Sectors 4 and 5, they were able to stomp them completely and get rid of them. And now we're moving into a taxation of the 5th zone. You don't know where that's going to go. It's beginning to, I'm almost thinking about launching an attack out of here, just because I don't know if I can succeed. The way things are, it looks horrible. And an extra 40 resources of navies, maybe I can do something with it. Problem, of course, is that frees the Imperials up, and they can throw everything at me everywhere and really hose things over. So there's just not enough. It looks too easy to just blockade the planets where the characters are, get enough shifts on them that they can't possibly get off of them. As it is, I've been able to kind of stay away from the Imperials, and that's worked fine. On the other hand, a big enough navy could sweep into here and attack or something. Let me see where my secret base is. 342. That's this one. And there's a significant little force down there because I had a camp there that had to be stomped. Huh. This guy didn't just fly here. I don't know where he is or why. I'll put him here and hide that secret some more. He should have landed already. Anyway, this is going to be a painful little exercise, it looks like. I think I've been running this video long enough that I can afford to put it up. I think it's only been a 1-turner, but that's okay. We're probably coming close to the end here.